Hello, my name is Tony, or Helmex Gaming. I have been a restaurant chef for about, I think it was 3 to 4 years now, and today I have a reaction video to one of my friend Nick's videos called Cooking with Nick, the one with the nachos. He's making nachos. Let's give it a watch, let's give it a reaction, and, well, let's see how it goes, because could be good. Let's find out.
Hi there, my name's Nick. I'm 20 years old and I never learned how to cook. And now that I'm alone, now I gotta teach
So
myself
still got the good comedy in
how
there.
to cook. So I'm gonna start out with something very simple and easy. Today we're making nachos.
Making
We're
nachos.
gonna need some chips. Get those bad boys. We're gonna need some
Okay.
tomatoes. Almost forgot what those were called for a second.
All right.
Some olive boys. Get those olive.
Well,
We're gonna need a
I do that
cow,
all the time. I always
and
drop
we're gonna
stuff.
need to get some shredded cheese.
Okay, the first thing I see is that the meat appears
I
brown.
feel like shredding it myself.
That usually means that it's probably been inside the fridge for...
meat.
Let me pause this real quick. So when the meat's usually brown like that, it usually means that the meat's been in there for a while. Although it doesn't really affect the flavor that much. I'm actually making hand gestures over here. You see my hands moving around. Although it doesn't alter the meat's flavor that much, it does alter it slightly. And of course, if you're cooking in a restaurant, you normally don't want to serve meat that's been inside of a fridge for weeks on end. This does not look like it's been weeks on end. This looks like it's been almost probably like maybe 5 days, maybe 7. Not really too sure, but yeah, the meat's browned. It makes it a bit more difficult to tell if it's fully cooked in the end, but it's not a major deal at all. Let's keep on watching.
I don't know. Just kind of put it in there. Mash, mash.
Technically.
Okay, now I'm gonna run over, put a little bit of earth juice in there.
Alright, so normally what I do is, when it comes to actually cooking the meat itself, I don't normally put water myself, because I buy pretty fatty meat, or... No, the percentage of meat that I usually get is usually a 95 to 5%. 95% being lean and 5% being fat. That's because once the meat is actually fully cooking and it's fully cooked, it'll be leaking oil, so you don't have to add any extra water or anything like that. Let's keep on watching though.
A little bit of earth juice. I'm gonna put it back here. This sounds right. This sounds like I'm doing it good, right? Okay, I'm gonna leave that over there to do its thing, so I don't have to think about it. And then I'm gonna wash these babies off. You always gotta wash your
That is correct. You always
never know if they're gonna have
any sort of
gremlins on 'em.
vegetables.
They might have gremlins on them. You don't know. So now we're gonna cut up
I don't know about
tomato.
gremlins.
We're gonna cut our tomato. I remember what they're called. All right, how do we cut you? Is it? I'm just gonna go right down the middle. Sounds good. Just like that.
Okay, so the first thing I see is that his knife is dull. You can't really tell just by looking at the image, but normally once you actually cut through tomato, here, let's see if I can go back a tiny bit. You can see how the tomato is slightly flexing in the top. So normally the tomato's like this, but it's applying a little bit of pressure on the top. Normally when you have your knives all together, you want to have a clean cut that goes right through the middle. And also when it comes to making nachos, when I make nachos, I always do what's called a small dice. So basically you cut it in half, then you cut it again, and you basically keep on cutting until you get to basically small cubes. It's easier to just, take big bites out of when it comes to your nachos, and usually it's around the same density as the everything else. All right, let's keep on watching.
Just like that. Yeah. Woo! We're doing it. Should I cut? Definitely not this way, right?
No, you definitely do not cut that way.
This way.
Okay. So he's cutting it in a proper way, but it's not the way that you would traditionally do it with nachos. Normally, after cutting it in half once, you cut each one of the halves in half once again, and then what you do is that you cut those instead of cutting again like uh like this, cut it like this. So what ends up happening is that you get like these small little pieces, which then you're able to turn into small dice really easily. All right.
Yeah, that's like how it's. It's just, I don't know if this knife is dull or if I'm just bad.
The knife is dull because it should not be
bad.
squishing
I'm
the
just
tomatoes
bad at
like
cutting things.
No, you're doing
What is
great.
going on? Oh, that the seeds are coming out on that side.
But also, the technique is correct, but since he's using a dull knife, he wants to be doing like a sawing motion, a very light sawing motion. But normally, you want to make sure all your knives are not dull before you start cutting, because if your knives are dull, this happens. You basically get squashed tomato paste. Let's keep watching.
This is this is not going according to plan. Now we're gonna move on to the olives. This can has a little pull top. Thank God, because I do not feel like struggling for 10 minutes.
I would have
trying
loved to see him
open.
trying to get the
I know I
can
can't
open.
mess this up. I mean, it's just olives.
Okay. First of all, this is hilarious. But normally when it comes to making tacos, you would normally purchase olives that are pre-sliced, because the actual process of slicing the olives, it's fine, but there's specifically sliced olives for nachos that have a little bit of extra flavoring. It gives the nachos a little bit of extra flavor. But this
now we got all the boring stuff out of the way. Time to kick
Pretty
up
sure that was the
heat
funnest part.
in the kitchen. That's why I said heat. Okay, I got a plate.
Okay.
Now, I'm gonna grab my chips.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, if that was done on purpose, that's hilarious. But normally, if you look at how he was opening up the bag of chips,
Gonna grab my chips.
you can see the way that he grabs the bag is sort of in like this motion, to when instead of pulling from the top and opening outwards, he's pulling from the bottom and sort of going like this with his hands. And due to where he was opening it, he wasn't opening it from the very top, he was opening from like the middle top. It causes the bag to do that. It's hilarious though.
Oh,
I'm not gonna lie. That's
I'm
hilarious.
not left-handed. But here we go.
At least he did realize that doing it left-handed.
That around. I'm gonna grab our huge. Oh my God, huge chunks.
Okay, I gotta. Some of the actual meat here. Here, I can actually show with my mouse. Some of this meat looks like it hasn't been cooked fully, and it's not a huge problem when it comes to meat. People do enjoy like medium rare steaks, and some people even like them rare. But if you're ever doing any sort of like ground poultry, such as turkey or chicken, you want to make sure that's fully cooked entirely, so that you don't spread salmonella, and you definitely don't want that. But yeah, it looks good if you enjoy your stuff a little bit rare, but for my taste, I enjoy seeing my stuff fully cooked. But he probably thought it was fully cooked because it was already brown in the first place from being in the fridge for a while. And then also, those tomatoes are not chopped properly. But I can't really blame him. He said he didn't know how to cook. But let's
of tomato, because I know how to cut things, I swear. Put some of our olives on there.
The olives are
Break
fine.
out
It's a simple
cheese.
cut in half.
Yeah, good. Don't you love it when you open things and it doesn't go all over the place? Yeah, there we go. There we go.
That is correct. That is
cheese.
how you want
We're not
to
done
spread
there,
your cheese
folks.
on top.
We're making double layered nachos.
Double layered
baby.
nachos.
We're gonna get more
So
chips.
super nachos.
More chips. More this. More of
Okay,
the
yeah.
big tomato bits on. And more of this. And
Okay,
then
as long as that table is
more
properly
cheese.
cleaned,
Get out of the bag.
the
You
tomato
put it
getting on
on
there shouldn't be a problem.
And you have Nick's mountain of nachos.
That's a pretty
There
cool
it
name
is.
for that.
Now, all that's left to do is put it in the microwave.
Oh. Okay, okay. So the thing about nachos is that usually when you put them inside of a microwave, especially with tomato juices, olive juices, and the natural juices of the meat, it can sometimes make the chips soggy. So it's sometimes fine if you're doing like small things of nachos, like what he's doing. But if you're ever making like a full size thing of nachos, like for a group of people, you make like one of those huge trays of it. Normally, what you want to do is use a oven, or if you are a fancy person, one of those countertop ovens. Are they called countertop ovens? I forgot what they're called, but they're basically ovens, but also toasters. They just sit on your counter. I don't know what they're called. I never use them. I always use the natural oven. Or the best way you can do it is with a if you work in a restaurant, of course you'll have the proper stuff to be able to make them properly, but a actual uh heating thing that has fire directly over where the nachos would be sitting. So it uses flames instead of wave technology. Because you don't want to accidentally nuke the nachos. It's never good. But I guess for this case, it's fine. But usually, what you want to do is either use a conventional oven, a countertop oven, or a open flame. Let's keep on watching.
Baby, put her on in there. Nice and gingerly like. It's alright, baby. It'll all be over soon. It's got weird real fast. Let's put her in for like, let's go like a minute and
Okay.
20 seconds. And press that start button. And let's see how it turns out. Well, here it
Okay.
is. The finished product of all
Okay.
of my...
So yeah, obviously the cheese is not melted fully, because a minute and 20 seconds wasn't enough. But also, any more time than that instead of a microwave would usually cause the nachos to get soggy or over crisp. So, like I said earlier, conventional ovens or open fire is the best way to do it. Not on a stove. If you do that on a stove, you're creating fire hazards, and it's just not going to taste good. It's going to get burnt on the bottom, and it's just going to turn into a mess.
hard work and
But
effort.
it looks pretty
I
good.
don't know about you, but this journey has made me very hungry. I'm just gonna start eating this. So
Let's hear that crunch.
yeah.
Okay. So yeah, nachos looked pretty good in the end, but obviously I could hear by the crunch that they turned out slightly soggy. That's fine if you're a singular person, but when it comes to making nachos for multiple people, usually you want to be actually have them crispy. So from what I saw, it's fine. Uh, I think there's a couple of things. Making sure your knives are sharp. Using the proper heating method. Microwave is fine, but I would always use oven. In my own personal house because I don't have a fancy fire top. And also, opening up the bag. More of opening at the top using 2 fingers instead of your entire hands. Better option. And also, using meats that's really fresh. So, when it comes to me making nachos, I always buy the same ingredients the same day, especially the meats, because normally it just the meat's just it browns over time inside the fridge. which, taste, it'll go fine, but you have a chance of not being able to tell if it's undercooked. So anyways, yeah, that was my reaction video to Cooking with Nick, the one with the nachos. Overall, I grade his performance a 7 out of 10 because I cannot try them, but from what I saw, they probably tasted good. They tasted fine, but it's not just taste that you have to look at. You also got flavor, you got all sorts of stuff. So, things I would ask him to improve later on in maybe a future video. Nachos 2, the re-nachoing. Uh, so I recommend taco seasoning for the meat. It'll add extra flavor to the meat and it'll give it a more spicy nacho taste. If you don't like spicy nachos, then leave it out. That's fine. Making sure your knives are sharp. Always do this first because you can actually seriously injure yourself if you're cutting something and you go too hard and your knife just slips and you end up slicing your thumb off or something. Of course, a sharp knife is dangerous, but a dull knife is even more dangerous. And the last thing would just be uh, purchase your meats the same day that you're going to be cooking. Because from what I saw, it looks like he bought like 4 pounds of meat or something like that and only used like maybe a quarter or half of it. And that meat's probably going to be sitting inside the fridge for like another 2 days or so, unless he makes nachos the next day or tacos. I would love to see a taco video, Nick. I would love to see tacos. Thanks for watching.